I'm Steve Peters. I'm an academic psychiatrist who's currently working in elite sport and also with the general public. In my opinion, to be a good psychiatrist, you've got to be really good. You have to know your work, you have to know the patients well, and you have to see change occurring. And I'm here today with the Great Britain Taekwondo team, and I have three main roles in elite sport. One is to wear my hat as a doctor and detect mental health and psychological illness. The second is to get people in a great place psychologically, including building a very healthy culture and communicating effectively. And the third one is to get performance, so that you use the mind therapeutically around behaviours, emotions and beliefs in order to get the medals we need at the Olympics. It's been a great privilege to work in elite sport for the last 20 years and go off to 4 Olympic Games, because you can join the success of people. And for me as a psychiatrist, whatever they define as success and they're trying to get to, if you can be part of that, then it's a fantastic feeling and really rewarding. I think psychiatry as a discipline is challenging because in other disciplines you can take investigations such as blood tests and x-rays. In psychiatry it's just you and the patient's mind, and you have to have the ability and the scientific knowledge to know what's going on there neuroscientifically and then treat it appropriately. When we're looking at the mind and the brain, and I'll separate those two out, the brain will look at physical aspects, the mind we're looking at psychological aspects, and we find there are rules of these, both of them, the way these systems work, and unless we understand the rules of the mind and the neuroscience that underpins that, then we probably won't be as effective as we could be. So for me, neuroscience is the basis of psychiatry. After entering medical school, I really believed I'd be a GP, and I went through medical school definitely not wanting to do psychiatry. I thought it was a soft option. I didn't honestly understand why it was in a medical curriculum. I sort of understood psychological things were important, but not that important. One of the aspects from my work is that I optimise the performance of the mind, which means I'm working in elite sport, but I also work in the corporate world, I work in education, I work in health and with the general public. So when I've got this knowledge and experience, as a psychiatrist I can apply that anywhere, because most people want to learn how their mind functions and how to optimise that, whether it's in a professional setting, whether it's personal, whether it's teams, individuals, any aspect, the mind drives our success. For me in psychiatry, one of the highlights and one of the challenges is that everybody's unique. No two people are going to walk through the door. You can't use a checklist on them. You have to interpret from their perspective, and everybody has a different way of seeing the world, a different interpretation, different values, different approaches. So even the illnesses such as depression, which you'd think would present similarly, can present very differently in individuals. And that's a fantastic challenge, and you need a lot of people skills to be able to do that. For me, one of the highlights of being a psychiatrist is that you're helping people on their journey through life. You may not see the end point, but you're helping, directing, helping, supporting and so on as they go through life. I've had many patients come back to me 15, 20 years on that I bumped into them, or they've written to me to say, what you did 20 years ago really helped me and helped me move forward. So psychiatry is a long-term outlook, and you have to accept that in the career, that it's tough. You may not see the end point, but you're always contributing to it.